my chin, and I can feel every single stitch against my collarbone. The room smells like pine and kerosene and something sweet. Someone left a plate of honey cake on the dresser that neither of us will touch. Outside, the last buggy is pulling away. I can hear the gravel popping under the wheels, then nothing. Just crickets. Just his breathing. Just mine. The lamp on the nightstand throws this orange glow across the ceiling, and the shadows move when the wind pushes through the window screen. My new nightgown is white cotton, sewn by my mother's hands, and it is so starched it scratches my arms every time I shift. He is sitting on the edge of the bed with his back to me, and his shoulders are shaking. I think he might be praying. I think I should be too. But all I can feel is the cold air on my ankles and this tightness in my chest, like something is about to happen that I cannot stop and cannot name. Nobody told me what comes next. Nobody told him either. The only words I was given were from my aunt 2 days before. She touched my wrist, looked at the floor, and said, "Let him. It'll pass." That was it. That was the whole lesson. I was 19. Quick pause. My name is Sarah, and this is Quiet Leaving. If you're new here, subscribing is free, and it keeps these stories coming. Tell me in the comments, was there something important you had to figure out completely alone? In our community, the wedding night was not spoken about, ever. Not by mothers, not by fathers, not by the married women who knew exactly what was waiting. There was a belief, old as the first settlements, rooted somewhere between scripture and silence, that purity meant not just saving your body, but saving your mind from even the knowledge of what your body could do. Girls were raised to understand modesty in fabric, in posture, in eye contact, but never in anatomy. I did not know the names of my own parts. I knew the word womb because it appeared in the Bible. I knew the word unclean because it appeared every month. But the rest, the actual geography of myself, was a blank map I had never been permitted to unfold. And the unspoken rule was simple. If you knew nothing, you were protected. If you asked, you were already fallen. His name was Eli. We had courted for 14 months, which in our district was considered long and patient. He was kind, genuinely kind, the sort of man who would carry a barn cat inside his coat during a cold snap and pretend he hadn't. We held hands once before the wedding, behind the smokehouse after a Sunday singing, and both of us turned red and looked away like we had stolen something. My older sister, Leah, pulled me aside 3 weeks before the wedding. She said 9 words. 9. It hurts at first. You get used to it. She squeezed my hand and went back to kneading bread. My mother gave me the nightgown and told me to be a good wife. That was the preparation. That was everything I was given to walk into a room with a man I loved and do something neither of us had language for. The bedroom was at the back of our new house, a small addition Eli and his brothers had built that spring. The walls still smelled like fresh-cut oak. There was one window, no curtain yet, just the dark pressing against the glass. A braided rug on the floor. The bed was a wedding gift from his parents, the mattress stuffed with wool and hay, and it creaked when either of us moved even slightly. I could hear a dog barking somewhere down the road. I could hear my own pulse in my ears. Eli turned around, and his face, I will never forget his face. He looked like a boy standing at the edge of a frozen pond, not sure if the ice would hold. His hands were trembling. He reached for me, and his fingers were so cold they made me flinch, and he pulled back like he had burned me. "I don't want to hurt you," he whispered. I said, "It's okay." I did not know what I was saying it was okay for. What happened next took less than 10 minutes. His hand moved. I stopped breathing. There was pressure, then a sharp tearing feeling that made my whole body go rigid. I gripped the edge of the mattress and bit the inside of my cheek so hard I tasted iron. He kept saying, I'm sorry, and I kept saying, it's fine. And neither of us meant what we were saying because neither of us had the vocabulary for what was actually happening. My body clenched against something it had never been taught to expect. There was no tenderness in the act, not because he was cruel, but because neither of us knew tenderness was possible in that context. We had been taught that this was duty. Duty does not require understanding. When it was over, he rolled away and faced the wall, and I lay there staring at the ceiling, feeling a burning sensation that would not stop, and I thought, this is what married life is. This is what all of them meant when they smiled at me and said, you'll be fine. I was not fine. For 10 days, I could barely walk. Every step sent a sharp ache through my hips and lower back. Sitting was painful. Standing was painful. I bled for 6 days, not the familiar monthly kind, but something rawer, something that felt like a wound that had not been made carefully. And when I told Leah, wincing as I lowered myself into a kitchen chair, she just nodded. It was like that for me too, she said. Give it a month. Nobody suggested I see a doctor. Nobody suggested that what had happened was anything other than ordinary. The logic was seamless and airtight. God designed this. Your body will adjust. Pain is temporary. Obedience is permanent. And I believed it. I believed it because I had no other framework. I had never heard the word arousal. I had never heard the word foreplay. I had never been told that a woman's body needs preparation, needs time, needs communication. I had been told to let him, and I did. By the 3rd month, I had developed a system. I would lie very still. I would breathe through my nose. I would count the knots in the ceiling beam above the bed. There were 14, and I knew each one. I learned to leave my body before he touched it. Not dramatically, not in some cinematic way, just quietly. I would think about the garden. I would think about what to plant in the east row come spring. I would disappear into a quiet place inside my head where nothing could reach me. And when it was over, I would come back and wash the dishes and fold the laundry and be Ruth again. I did not know there was a word for what I was doing. I did not know that what I was doing was a survival response. I thought I was just being practical. At a quilting circle the following autumn, Martha, she was 23, married 2 years, leaned over and said something so quiet I almost missed it. Do you ever feel like you're not really there? She asked. Her needle didn't stop moving. I looked at her. She looked at her stitches. Sometimes, I said. That was the closest either of us ever came to saying it out loud. Later that winter, I overheard Eli's cousin's wife, Hannah, crying in the wash house. I stood outside the door with a basket of wet shirts, and I listened, and I did not go in. I should have gone in. I think about that all the time. How I had the chance to break the silence, and I chose the silence instead, because the silence was all I knew how to carry. 4 years later, I left the community. Eli and I separated quietly. He remarried within the year. I do not hold that against him. The first time a therapist drew a diagram of female anatomy on a whiteboard and pointed to it with a blue marker, I cried for 40 minutes. Not because I was angry. I was not angry yet. That came later, and it came softer than I expected. I cried because I was looking at a picture of myself that I had never been allowed to see. She said the word consent, and she said the word readiness, and she explained, in plain, simple, unbearable language, that what I had experienced on my wedding night was not what intimacy is supposed to feel like, that pain is not a rite of passage, that my body had been responding exactly the way a body responds when it is not ready and not safe. I sat in that chair and I grieved, not for myself now, but for the girl in the white nightgown who bit her cheek and counted ceiling knots and thought she was just being a good wife. For Eli, too, For the boy who said, "I'm sorry," and meant it, but did not know what he was sorry for. We were both locked in the same room with the same silence, and neither of us had the key. I still carry things from that life that I would not trade for anything. The smell of bread baking in a wood-fired oven on a cold morning. The sound of a horse's breath in the dark. That low, warm huff when you're buckling the harness before dawn. The way a whole community shows up when a barn burns down and rebuilds it in a single day without being asked. These things are real. They live in my chest and I am grateful for them. But I also carry this, that silence dressed as holiness stole something from me that I am still, decade by decade, learning to reclaim. And both of those things are true at the same time. The beauty and the harm lived in the same house. They shared the same table. I do not have to choose between them, and I will not pretend one cancels the other. If you grew up somewhere your own body was kept from you like it was something dangerous, if you learned to leave yourself just to get through the night, if nobody ever told you the words for what you felt because the words themselves were considered sin, I see you. You are not broken. You were never broken. You survived something that was not your fault, and surviving it was enough. Leave me a comment. Tell me what you felt listening to this, or just let me know you're here. Sometimes knowing someone else is in the room is the whole thing. There is so much more I haven't said yet. I'm just getting started. If you want to stay, subscribe to Quiet Leaving. These stories deserve a place to land. Your body was always yours. It just took the world too long to tell you.